Welcome one and all to this first episode of a special series of D&D that's dedicated to helping Mommy. We are going to create a small app that Mommy can use to make her grocery list. She wants to send the grocery list to me via email, so that's kind of a bit of a question. I don't really know how to do that, but we'll figure that out later. First, we need to create an entire list, etc., and create a project. So we're going to start by hitting the new button over here. We're going to go 2D, and we are going to go to projects. There should be a Zoe projects, no?
There was.
There it is, Zoe projects. Ooh, that's not quite what I meant, but that's all right. Let's just select this folder and call it Groceries.
Grocery list, maybe?
Sure.
Because we're not creating groceries.
Okay. Hit create and let's wait a bit. I don't know what. Oh, it's going with 19 point something. We could have gone with 19.3, but whatever. 19.2 is fine too. No. Yeah, whatever. Doesn't matter. So we're going to create this project, and what should we start with? The database, right? So, how should the database be made? Think about groceries.
What does that mean? Think about the types of groceries?
Well, so you're going to need some kind of way to have all of this information somewhere. Right? It needs to be stored somewhere, it needs to be accessible, and it probably needs to be categorized. So, how do we do that? Can I name this one to main first? How do we do that? Well, this is going well. Okay. So, first of all, we're going to create a UI canvas because the entire game is going to be on a canvas. We are going to default to a scale with screen sizes, and we're going to say the default size of the screen is a 1080 ratio. 1080 res rather. Width or height, that's fine. Everything's fine. Pixel perfect, we may turn it on for now, and then we'll see. So for now we only have a canvas, and that's all we need. Everything else, the game doesn't really exist. So there's just going to be this, and this is what we're going to be worrying about. Now we are going to need to have a database. So what we're going to do is we're going to create ourselves a static script. A static script is a script that you don't need to put in the project. It already exists by default, so it's not a singleton. So create a folder called scripts. And inside the folder we're going to create a C# script, which you can call database with a capital D. Hit enter. Let's open it. Alright, so one thing that we cannot do with a static script is extend monobehavior. This doesn't apply to static scripts, so type static right in front of this. Statute even. Okay, save. So this one exists forever. Now methods like these you cannot have in a static script. You can only have requests. You don't start a static script, it auto starts, it exists forever. Now, what we're going to need is we said groceries, and we're also going to need subcategories of groceries. So what we should probably do, so create an enum for a category, or we could do it with strings, especially if we wanted to allow Mommy to add categories. Right? So if Mommy should be able to add categories, she should be able to then drag stuff into categories or add new things or whatever. Right? So there's all sorts of possibilities. We can't really use enums because enums are precompiled code. You can't add you can't add zucchini if zucchini wasn't present.
Yeah.
Right? So we would need to have some kind of string, probably. List, and that string is probably should be saved, which means, what does it mean? It means that the database in and of itself doesn't really have these. Though what I think the database should have is the default categories that should exist. Okay? So, let's think about this for a second. I think a dictionary could possibly be good. So a dictionary that would contain as a key a string, for example, fruit. Okay? And then as its elements, an array, or a list, even better, of strings. Like pear, apple, whatever. Does that make sense?
A bit.
A bit.
So we're going to make an enum of strings.
Nope. You can make an enum of strings. That makes no bloody sense. An enum is number. We're not going to have any enums anywhere. Because if the lists need to be editable via some kind of save file, it is not possible for you to have this type of concept.
Then maybe an array of strings?
Yes. But it's going to be a dictionary. So you want to create a public static dictionary. There it is. Now you need to open of type, and here it asks you for a key, and it's going to be a string, and then comma, and then the content is going to be a list of strings. String, and then close two of these brackets. Okay, yeah. Close to the second one. Space. Now we need to give it a name, and we're gonna say groceries. dict_groceries. Semicolon. So that's the dictionary. I wonder if we should make it public static, or we should probably just generate it. This may be a problem with the script being static. I wonder if we could just add. So let's try this. I don't know how that will work, but copy this. I don't think this will work, but let's try. Dot paste. Dot add. Open round. And type h comma new list. So I don't think this will work. Okay. But I want to see, because the problem is if you need to populate it on the fly, you're gonna have a problem. Do we have insert? I don't know. See, it's not possible. Tuple. I didn't even know the term tuple. Must contain at least 2 elements. We got this. Sorry, so dot. Let's delete all of this. Let's see what IntelliSense tells us. Add. Apparently it doesn't give us any options. Yeah, I'm not surprised. You can't actually add things as you normally would when you construct it. Now, because of this, at this point we should probably turn it into a singleton. Now, it doesn't need to extend mono behavior anyway, but we should do a public static class. It will be public class database, and here you want to put a public static database
script.
Yes. We're gonna make it into a singleton, because if we need to load it on the fly from external data, and we want this to keep the information, this is going to be the best way of doing it. So this one is not static. Save. Okay, and all of a sudden this is behaving like usual. So here you would do a void start. No, void awake. Let's do it in awake. Open close round, open a squiggly, save. Now, one thing we're going to have to worry about again is the user preferences. For now, we don't care, right? But let's create another void here, which is going to be populate database defaults.
How does awake work if we're not extending mono behavior? You said none of the start functions could work.
No, on static scripts it wouldn't.
Oh.
Yeah, mono behavior, I don't know what it actually enables, frankly. Every default Unity script extends bon behavior.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I mean, it may be that some things don't work, so we may need to extend it ourselves. I'm not sure. So void create default database, something like that. Open, yeah, open squiggle, close, okay. Now let's simply call this copy in awake, paste, semicolon, okay. And here we're gonna create the list of groceries. So copy, paste, close enough. I'm having troubles with clicking. I have bad aim. Paste, dot add, and open round, and you say quote.
Oops.
Yeah, quote. And go fruit, for example. Do all lowercase. Fruit, yes. Fruit, and then close the quote, and then comma, new list. Yeah, tab, open, close round, semicolon. Okay, so now that you've done this, you have a new list that exists, and it's under fruit. So what you can do now is you can say dict groceries dot, excuse me, not dot, open round, I think, square bracket, quote fruit. Again, you don't like the U. Close the quote, close the square bracket, dot. Now it's a list. So what can we do to a list?
We can add to it. We can
add, right? So we need to add, and you can start adding some fruit. So go quote.
apple.
And sure, apple. Now apples, there's many qualities.
Yeah.
Now I don't think mommy particularly cares about qualities, so let's just leave it there and hit quote and close round and semicolon. So you've added apple, right? Now there's loads of fruits that we should have. Okay, so copy all of this
and paste it several times.
Paste it, paste it, paste it, paste it, paste it, paste it, paste it. Stop here, right? So you've got apple. Actually, let me try something. Copy all of this. Type add, ad. No, ad. Add range, eh? Okay. What does range allow? So, string collection. Huh. Any other options? No, that's the oof. I'm not really sure how to use it. So let's just add. It's like I wonder if you could do this, right? And go banana, for example. Can you do that? No. But what about range? Type the word range. Is this allowable? No. So I don't know the syntax of add range. Okay, so we could just do multiple ones like this. So here you can type banana. And then orange. Grapes.
All these are singular, so I think.
Yeah, but grapes doesn't
they
come
in
singular.
bunches, so.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose you could say apples, bananas, and then put a number. So probably better, just put apples, bananas, oranges, then grapes, then watermelon, melons, papayas, mangoes. Copy.
Now we need berries.
Strawberries.
Blueberries.
Sure. Blackberries. Raspberries. What other options? I'm just thinking visually about the store. Now, I know that people say that tomato is a fruit. I don't care. We're going to put it among veg. Okay. What else? Pear. We haven't done pears.
Yes.
Pears. Plural. Pears. Then what else have we got?
Figs.
Figs. There are no figs.
They only sell dried figs.
Right, and those would be in a different department than fruit.
Yes.
What else have we got? I cannot remember. Like there's gotta be more fruit for sure. Kiwi. We definitely get kiwi, so copy. And lime as well. So
And lemon.
Yeah. So kiwi, lemons, limes. Lemons, limes. Save. Is there anything else? I think that's sufficient for now. At least in principle, it will work okay.
Yeah.
Right? Let's put a comment here saying fruit. Save. Now we're also going to try something. A list should be sortable. So copy all of this. Paste. Dot sort. There it is. So this should do it alphabetically, automatically. Save. There may be options in sort. Yeah, so you got index, count, comparer, comparison. I think the default one will default to alphabetical for strings. That's my bet anyway. I mean, we could manually do it ourselves, but why? Right, we're lazy. Next.
Veggies.
Veggies.
I'll just
Vegetables.
veggies because no one is going to read this. It's not actually going to be in the thing, right?
Sort of. I mean, the names of stuff here would be. But yeah, the comment won't.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Copy these two. Paste them here. And here you can say vegetables. Copy. Pasta. And here you put zucchini. Copy. Pasta. Potatoes.
Tomatoes. Cucumbers. Carrots.
Peppers.
Lettuce. Cabbage.
Sure.
We get it sometimes.
Arugula. Spinach. Oh, we forgot they need to be plural. So lettuces, cabbages, arugula. I think lettuce is the same actually. What does it even mean to have it plural? Spinach. Yeah, this is the grass. Zucchini. Okay, that's good. Oh no, wait, it's not supposed to be zucchini. We already had zucchini. What else? Onions.
Radishes.
Copy. Pasta. Radishes. And then
Broccoli.
And we could put garlic, celery, and then we've said bell pepper, mushrooms. Save. Okay, let's stop here for now. Copy all of this. Did you say potatoes?
Yes, we did there.
Okay, paste it. Don't put yams, they're disgusting. Copy.
Hey,
Copy
we like yams.
You're wrong. Paste it. I'm looking forward to going back to Europe where yams don't exist. Put yams here. Save. Okay, so we've got these for now, and that's kind of sufficient, I think. So we sorted the lists, etc. So create default database. Let's quickly check that this is working, but because it's a singleton, we need to put it in the scene. So create empty, call it a database. Put an underscore in front just so it's easy to find.
So we just can type database and then we find it. I mean underscore and then we find it.
No, you just see it immediately. Like stuff with underscores is so obvious to view in a list. Ah, there you go. So you cannot add it if it doesn't derive from mono behavior. Thought we may have to. Save. No, actually, now save. Be tidy, huh? Okay. Hello, Crusader. We're in the middle of a show. We normally don't really talk to chat very much while we're doing this with my kid. But that's okay. We're doing a groceries list for mommy. Okay, so we've got the list of stuff in dictionaries ready in Awake. If we hit play, that should simply happen. We won't see anything, but never mind, null ref.
Yeah.
So we've got a problem right away. Oh, right, we never created a dictionary.
Yeah.
That's an issue. So let's do it first. So copy here, paste, equals, space, new, space, tab, open, close, right, semicolon. Now it will not have a null ref. There we go. We're fine. No null refs. Perfect. Okay, so we got this list. Now let's start working on our interactions a little bit. So basically we should have all sorts of buttons. And we should have a button for the categories. And then it should populate a list of available things, probably. Right? So there should be some kind of like logical sequence of sorts, right? So inside the canvas, we're going to create an empty. And you're going to call this one list. Or groceries, something. Yeah, list is fine. Now hold Alt and Shift, and now it fits the entire screen. Yeah, release. Okay, so now the list, we are going to have to space things horizontally like that, right? So suppose that here are your options for the type of stuff, and here on the right, maybe we're going to see the actual list. Mm-hmm. Okay, so there's going to be some kind of list screen or something, right?
Yeah.
That may have to have some scrollable bar, so it may be a bit more complex to make, but that's okay. It won't be that bad. But we'll figure it out. At any rate, this is going to need a horizontal layout group. So we can do this, type layout, and we're going to say the horizontal layout group. We're also going to force the children to have height and width controlled by the parent. Okay, so now we are going to need the list that's all the way to the right. Let's rename this one from list to something else. Let's call it 0 underscore and go groceries. Groceries. Yes, except groceries. Okay, good. And now inside it, on the left, we're gonna create categories. So create empty. Call this one categories. Then you want to duplicate categories and call this one items, capital I. Then you want to duplicate items and call this one list. So you can see the list is this third of the screen. This is the items and this is the categories. Okay. So we are going to have to create a certain button. Now, normally, many people use the default Unity buttons. I don't like the default Unity buttons. What we're going to do instead is we're going to create our own buttons. We're going to create custom buttons. Okay, so let's create a script that you can call button. Hit enter.
What do you mean by the default Unity
Actually,
buttons?
no. Let's... what?
What do you mean by the default
Unity has buttons? A class called button, which is why I just deleted this one because I want to call this one custom button with a capital C.
Oh.
Thanks for your subscription, Samuel. Okay, so custom button. So we are going to have to modify this. There's going to have to be some kind of way to customize the button, meaning to sort of set it up, and then some kind of pressing. So you can create a public void public with 2 B's. Public void setup button. Let me think for a second. So a button should know some stuff. And what it should know, save. Yeah, what it should know is whether it's a category or something else. So in the database, let's create an enum right outside of here. So go public enum and go space with a capital S. Yeah, and open a squiggle, hit enter twice, close it. So -1 is none. Whoops. Just type equals underscore none. Comma. Category. Comma. And item, I think we called it.
And then list.
List, we don't necessarily need it, because unless we put buttons in the list. Now, identifier, what am I missing? Hey? I'm very confused. Should be perfectly happy with this. Excuse me. Public EM test. Oh! Our syntax is ridiculous.
Oh.
That's a bit better. Right? Okay, so we got space. Now, when we set up a button, we're going to request a space. You can call it S. Capital. Space, then S. You need to specify what it is. Okay, comma. String. ID. Save. Now you want to store these pieces of information. So private space, yeah, capital.
But it seemed to work anyway.
Yes, it's another class that I'm not familiar with. Now all lowercase space. Okay, and then private string ID. Now let's get in the habit of actually changing the way we pass information here. Instead of calling this S, call it underscore space. And call this one underscore ID. Save. Now here you can say copy space, paste it here, equals, underscore,
Space.
paste again. Semicolon. So you can copy ID, paste it here, equals, paste it again. Now vice versa, paste it again, semicolon, and remove the first one. Okay, so ID is equal to ID. So that's when we set up the button. Now the button is going to actually have to have multiple interfaces here in order to be able to interact with callbacks like are you hovering on the button, etc, etc. Now I can't quite remember, so let me try this. I think it's mouse click. I cannot remember. Oh dear. Do we have to use Unity UI? Oh, events. Using Unity Engine event systems, I think. That's the one. So now it would be something like begin drag. See, that sort of stuff. Drop drag handler. Where are you? Log handle, move handle, pointer. Perfect. Pointer click, pointer down, pointer enter, pointer exit, pointer up. So we're interested in pointer enter, I pointer exit, and I pointer click handler. Now this will give you errors. And the reason why it's all giving you errors is because when you add these interfaces, it expects that callbacks exist for this. So it should be public on pointer enter handler, and then event systems
Your handles.
handler event e, something like that. On pointer enter handler, and I can't remember, it's event e on capital O public void. There. Now is it happy? It still isn't. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna hit Alt Enter, implement interface implicit. There you go. Pointer event data. That's what you need. Okay. So you see what it created by default. Throw new system non-implemented exception. This basically is a default error that says you haven't implemented this yet. So this is a very nifty thing that you can do with Visual Studio. You can say Alt Enter, and it will create you two possible solutions. So explicitly simply means, as you can see, it actually mentions that this is the interface that it's referring to. We don't need it. We can simply say implement interface.
Okay. And then for the last one too.
Exactly. We'll answer your questions at the end of the show, which is in 24 minutes approximately. And we'll explain the entire situation, because we're recording this for YouTube as well. Okay, so let's see here. So this is basically what's going to happen if you enter, if you click, and if you exit the particular thing. So when you enter, for example, you may want to highlight the button, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when you exit, you may want to de-highlight the button. And when you click it, you may want to do a certain thing. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, good. So in that case, you want to have a couple of voids for that. So you want to do void press.
Public or private?
Can be private. Void press. Open, close round, open a squiggly. Save. So that's for pressing the button. Then you want void
Maybe holding the
change highlight state. State. Open, close round, open a squiggle. Alright, so this one will require a certain enum to know what highlighting state it needs to go to. Now we could put that in the database, but I don't think it belongs there. What we're going to do is we're going to create a, instead of game manager, an app manager. So create an empty. This is the guy that is going to basically deal with the product, right? So underscore app manager. It's going to be another singleton. So we can create it here. App manager. App stands for application. So we're now going to drag it onto the app manager. App manager. We can remove this for now. You want to create the usual single structure. So, oh, by the way, wait a moment. We forgot something in awake. Script equals this. Semicolon. Perfect. Now here you want to say public static app manager script Okay, and now you want to create the awake function, right, which will assign script. It doesn't have to be public at all. Who would ever call awake?
Yeah.
It calls itself, right? So awake, and it already did quite a lot for you. Annoyingly, by the way. Let's also remove private. We can make it implicit. So, and you say script equals this. This, and that. Semicolon. Save. Okay. So there we go. We've got our app manager ready to go. Save. Now here we're gonna add that enum. So you go public enum. And we're gonna say button highlight state. highlight state. Open a squiggle, hit enter twice and close it. Save. Now we can start with none as usual and give it a value of -1. Then you can move on to unhovered, comma, enter hovered, comma, enter selected. Now we may or may not have something for selected. Okay, and when you then on the custom button you can request that. So here you're gonna put a button highlight something. What do you call it? There it is. Highlight state. Call it BTS. All right. Save. Bye. I mean, sorry, I was saying bye to somebody in the audience. So change highlight state BTS. Now, depending on BTS, we're going to do certain things. Now, we're going to tell our app manager that it's going to have, say, a color, a highlighting color. Now, we don't yet know what these colors are going to be, so let's wait before we do anything. We're going to create a sample button. So inside our categories, we're going to create a category button. So let's create an empty and call this one button, capital B. Now categories actually needs to have a vertical layout space, layout group. You want basically this thing to sort of create a list that goes from the top to the bottom of these buttons, right? So let me think here for a second. One thing we're going to do is we're going to add spacing of 10 left, right, top, and bottom. So we're going to add 10 everywhere, 10 pixels. Now, this button needs to have more stuff. So first of all, it's going to have some kind of image. So we're going to create an image. Okay, and we're going to make it fit everything by holding Alt and Shift and clicking that. So you see how the button now occupies entire space? Duplicate the button. Now there's 2. Duplicate it again. More. See? It puts them in a lovely, neat list. So that's pretty cool. All right, button. It's got an image. This image will be the background of the button. Let's see if we could choose this background, for example. It's pretty good. Now, you see how it's actually rounded, but only for a very, very small amount. That's because this picture is a 9 slice. So you see these dots, basically the areas that are between the dots, vertically and horizontally here in the middle, they extend, they get stretched. But these areas don't get stretched. So the button always looks correct, as long as you have a flat looking button. Okay, now we could create our own button, but it's something we're going to worry about later, not right now. One thing that I don't like about this button is you can see it's already gray. I'm not a fan of that. I want to control the color, right? Because obviously if I multiply it by white, it becomes gray, but if I start multiplying it by gray, it becomes black before I get to black, basically, if that makes sense. Right? Or if I multiply by red, it's not pure red, it's a dark red because it's multiplying the texture, which is already gray. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're also going to add text to the button, which is absolutely fundamental for a button to work correctly. So we're going to go to UI Text Mesh Pro. And now it's going to say, hey, I don't have Text Mesh Pro in me. We're going to say, no worries, import it. So now Text Mesh Pro is being added. And there it is, and we got our text. Again, we're going to tell our text to fit everything, right? So I'm going to hold Alt and Shift and click here. And, Alt and Shift, and there you go. And now the text fits, but you see it's top left. I don't necessarily want it to be top left. I think I'm going to put it in the middle and in the middle. Okay? Now, we're going to leave this font. It's very simple, but it's good. What we are going to change, however, to make sure that the text is always visible, is we're going to dilate it a bit. So it's going to make it thicker. And after we've dilated it, we're going to turn on outline, and we're going to dilate the outline. So now we get a black outline. Makes the text very easy to read on almost any background. Okay? We could dilate it a bit more if we wanted to. Say 0.4. There we go. So for example, if you type fruit here, right? There it is. There's your category button. Okay? Good. Now let's rename this one to text. Now, as you can see, this button needs to have a button component. We're just going to drag a custom button to it. There it is. Now we're going to edit it a bit because there's a few things that we still need to do. We need to actually pick up these structural elements. So you can create a private image, capital I, in image. Now, oh, careful. It's not semicolon. Just put a semicolon. It's not happy. Why is it not happy? The type or namespace name image could not be found. Are you missing a using directive? Yes, we are.
We're probably missing text message pro.
That will be one, and I agree with you. That's going to be the next one. But yeah, sure, you can say using TM Pro. Semicolon. But save. Image is a class that belongs to the UI. So you would say using Unity Engine, I believe it is.
But it's there.
Dot UI.
Oh.
Semicolon. Save. All right.
And all of a sudden
So now you have image. Now you can create a private. This one's going to be a very long class name. TM Pro Ugui something. Text Mesh Pro Ugui. And you can call it TM underscore, now lowercase. That's the name. TM underscore text. Semicolon. Alright, so these need to be set up when the button is indeed set up. Okay, so copy this, paste it here, equals, transform.find, open round, quote, what did we call the image?
Button, I think. Yeah.
No,
image, just image.
So image, close quote, close round, semicolon. No, my bad. You need to get the component. Open of type, image. Open, close round. I mean, first close this one, yeah. That's it. And then you want to assign TM underscore text. Your habit of putting capitals where they don't belong is brilliant. Okay, you can basically copy this, pasta it here, copy this, that goes here, and this is text with a capital T. Save. Now, as long as the button's always structured this way, you'll be fine. Right? So, there we go. So that's when the button gets set up and it's fine. Now, on pointer enter, we're going to copy change highlight state. Paste it here, open of type. So when you enter, when your mouse cursor enters the button, what should we go to? Unhovered, hovered, or selected?
When it enters the button, it should be hovered.
So you go to hover. Then you copy this. Paste it when pointer exits. Unhovered, that's correct. Save. And on pointer click, we'll leave it alone. When we start, paste. Unhovered. Copy unhovered. Paste it here. Save. There's a bit of a risk here because your mouse pointer could actually be on the object and the object will remain unhovered because it expects it to enter. No, if you come from another screen, then it will enter correctly. Never you mind. One thing that's important that we absolutely need to do, the button, image, and text, they all have certain characteristics. In the extra settings of the text, you will see down here, it will say raycast target. I'm going to turn that off. I don't want the text to be a raycast target. So when the mouse hovers, it won't register as hovering on the button. Only the image will be a raycast target. Okay?
Okay.
Now the button itself, we're going to make it into a prefab. Therefore, you're going to create a folder and call this one prefab. And you are going to drag the button into the prefabs. And now we have the lovely button right here.
And we can delete it from the scene.
Indeed. And we can tell the app manager that we want a button. So you can say a public game object. Yeah, and you can call this one button template. Semicolon. Because this thing is going to have to know how to spawn the buttons, right? Because we're gonna have to add them, remove them, and set them up all the time. As you change category, right, a different set of buttons will appear on the right. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's good. We've got the buttons. They will set themselves up. They will highlight, but the highlighting still doesn't do anything, and we're gonna do something now. So let's go to the app manager, and we are going to create public color array. Color array, and you can call this one button colors. Equals new space tab, open a square bracket, we're gonna want 3, close the square bracket, open a squiggly, and you can say color.white, comma, color.yellow, comma, color.green. Close the squiggly, semicolon. Okay, so this is going to be the 3 colors that are going to be set by default, and we can change them then to our heart's content, but there they are. Okay, so we can go pick up on those. So here you can say image.color equals app manager script dot color button colors. That's it. Now square bracket as cast to int. No, banana. Int.
Oh, I thought cast int was a function.
So cast to int your
Number.
state.
Of
Copy this. Paste it here. Save. So as long as the colors are the same numbers as these, right? Unhovered is white, hovered is yellow, selected is green.
Yeah.
All right. So now you can copy this, paste it here. Oh no, wait. This is change. No, I'm gonna need it. Cut this. Yeah, I thought this was looking stupid. Paste it here, and copy BTS, and you put BTS here. Save. Why is BTS? BHS. Hit Control R twice. BHS. Button highlight state.
Yeah.
Okay, so there we go. That's good too. Anything else? For now, I don't think so. This should work, but we should set up at least some buttons, right? So you can create here void start. Stop, hit tab. Okay, so void start, and what we're gonna save. What we're gonna do is we're going to create the categories. So let's create a void create categories. Save. Now, one thing we're gonna have to do is we need the containers for all of this stuff. Okay, so we need to know this object, the categories object, and the items object, and the list object. We need to have these pieces of information. All right. So let me think for a second. Serialized field. Close. Private. Transform. Transform. And you can call it categories or category container. Yeah, better that. Category container. Semicolon. Copy all of this. Paste it here and here. Call this one item underneath, except here. I can't click today. And here you want to type list. Save. Okay, so these we're gonna assign outside. Actually, remember we need to tell them it's default, otherwise Unity is stupid and says, it's an error. So copy this, paste, and paste, save. Okay, so we have the containers, and in the containers we're gonna have to build those buttons. So here you're gonna say for each, and hit tab. Stop pressing things. Just hit for each and then tab. Tab and then tab again. There you go. So var item in collection. So let me think here for a second. The collection is the list of strings in the dictionary. What's the easiest way to do that? Because dictionaries are a bit more uncomfortable to access than lists.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm thinking. I don't know that you can count the elements in a dictionary. Yeah, you can. You can get dict.count, but you cannot go dict at index 0, or can you? I don't know. So let me try something real quick, all right? I'm going to go to database, script, and then dict. That's your dictionary of groceries. That's what I'm interested in. So you can clear it, you can add, you can contain key, blah, 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 blah. Get type, remove toString, try get value. Yeah, so you need a key. That's the issue. You have the keys. So it gives you a key collection. I don't even know what that is. Huh. I don't know. But you cannot say basically this. Do you understand? You need to get each element. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do something a bit cumbersome, but that's okay. I mean, this is just a simple tool. It will work just fine. We're gonna take this. This is your explanation of what your dictionary is going to contain, right? So we're gonna put that here. Okay. And this needs to be a key value pair. Okay? So your key value pair is going to contain these two things, and you can call it K, whatever. And in database script dictionary. Okay? So it's going to go through all of the key value pairs. So each of them has the key, and then we can do something with that key. We can create our button. One thing we forgot is when the button receives the ID, we need to feed that ID to our text. Okay? Now, one thing we should possibly do is proper format it. I don't know how we do that, but let's try. So you can say tm text, dot set text, open rank. And this would be ID. And I think you can format, can't you? Format? No, you cannot format this. Let's just go with ID for now, semicolon. Because I'm almost sure you can do them all uppercase or lowercase, etc. There should be a proper case, but I cannot bloody remember where it is in C#. Okay, so anyway, set text ID. So we're going to put the text based on the ID. This means we need to receive an ID when we do that, right? So when we are setting up the categories, the logical space, right, is going to be category. Actually, let's cut this space. Cut it. And let's put it in the app manager as well. Right here, save. Okay, so we're gonna go with this space, save again. We're gonna go with this space, and the ID is gonna be the key of the dictionary element. Okay, so, but we need to instantiate the button from the template, okay, and then give it there. One important thing, that means we need to keep track of the list of the buttons that we have created. All right, so you want a private list of custom button. There it is, close of type, and you're gonna call it list underscore, no round brackets. You're gonna call it list underscore, lowercase list, potato, list underscore, category buttons, category buttons. Buttons. Semicolon. Save. So you got a list of category buttons. This list needs to be cleared. Shall we create a small void to clear the categories? Yes, we shall. Clear categories. Yeah, void. Clear categories. Open, close round, open squiggle. Save. All right, now copy this. The first thing you're going to do here is you're going to check that this is not null. So you're going to check that this list is not null. It's going to fix itself, the formatting. Is not null. Right? If it's not null, we're going to do, actually, let's check if it is null. What happens if a list is null? Can you search a list if it's null?
No.
Does it mean it's empty?
No, because you can't search it. You can't know whether it's empty or not.
It's never been made. That's the problem if it's null. We need to make it. So you need to initialize the list. Go ahead.
Oh.
There it is. Yeah, space, tab. Right away. Open, close round. Now you can search it. But is it empty?
Yes, because we just made it.
Correct. Yes. Okay. But it technically exists, so it can be perused. So what you're going to do now is you're going to hit 4, tab. We're going to go through the entire list of category buttons. So copy it, paste it here, dot count. So you're going to go through every element in it, save. And if it exists, you're going to destroy it, which means you need to check if it exists as a game object. So you're going to say if list category buttons I, there it is, 2 down, I, yeah, is not null. That means it exists. Close round, open a squiggle, hit enter twice, close it. You're going to destroy the game object. So destroy, open round, copy this entire thing, voice dot game object. Yeah, there it is. Close the round, semicolon. All right. So only if it exists, you destroy it. If it doesn't exist, who cares? At the end of all of this, we've destroyed every button. This means we can clear the list. So you can copy the entire list.
Dot clear.
Yeah, paste it. Dot clear. So this is a open close round. Forgot. It's a method. Yeah. So this is a very safe way of dealing with your list, because the first thing you do is you check if the list exists. If it doesn't, you build it. Right? Once, like, if it did, you don't build it, so it's all fine, right? So the list exists now for sure, no crash, guaranteed. Then you go through all of the elements in the list. If you just created it, there's no elements, so it gets skipped, right? So who cares? But if there are elements, it goes through every element. Each element, it checks, hey, element, do you actually exist? Because if you do exist, I want to destroy you. Then you destroy it. At that point, the entire list is going to be full of nulls, right? And you clear it. Right? If you clear a list that's already empty, nothing changes. So this is very safe. So let's copy this clear categories. The best place to put it is just in front, semicolon. So when you create them, the first thing you do is clear. Now we can finally create them. Okay? So we're going to say, copy this, paste it here, and you're going to say dot add, open round, and this one's going to get a bit complicated. So instantiate, open around. Yeah, there it is. Open around, and you have a template, so just type temp. There it is, comma. So now the question is, yeah, well, the position, etc. The position doesn't really matter, so just say vector3.0. The rotation also doesn't matter, so say quaternion.identity. And then what matters though is the parent, and here's where you tell it which parent to have, comma, container. And I think it's the category container we're interested in. Okay, so that's the parent. Now you're adding a custom button, so you need to go get the component of type custom button. Yeah, open, close, semi-close, Yeah, one more closed round bracket. Okay, now you've added it to the list. Now, what we need to do after we've added it is we need to actually set it up. So that's going to be the last one you've just added. So you can say copy category buttons, paste it here, square bracket, paste category buttons again, dot count, -1. Close the square bracket. So that means you're going to go grab the last one in the list, which is the one you've just added, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you say setup button. There it is. Open round. Now, space, hit tab. The space is?
We're doing category.
Therefore, category, comma. The ID is K dot key. There it is. Close round, semicolon. Now, these are categories. The key is fruit. Save. Oh, save here too. Okay. And that should be good. So let's copy create categories and paste it in start and semicolon.
Are we going to add any more categories?
Yeah, of
Because there will
course.
be canned food, stuff
Sure,
like
sure,
that.
loads of stuff. So here we're going to hit play for now. Let's see what happens. Okay, there's a problem. We got a null ref.
Yeah.
Well, many null refs, in fact. See how these are missing?
Yeah.
So we're missing the button template. There we go. The categories, the items, and the list. That's much better. Play. Fruit and vegetables. Fruit, vegetables, fruit, vegetables, fruit, vegetables. You see how entering and exiting is working correctly? I mean, these are the colors we picked. We can pick better graphics, better colors. This not a problem, right? The next step... Oh, we ran out of time, actually. But that's a good start. So we got these buttons, but I want to show you something. Because the code is made to be self-sufficient, if you add new categories, like, for example, let's say meat and fish. Yeah, and fish. Yeah, so copy this. Wait, copy this. Paste it here. And you say meat. Meats, maybe. Put plural meats. Yeah. Then copy this. Paste it here. Copy meats. Paste it here. And now we're going to add, say, 2. Copy. Paste. And here you can say, copy. I don't want to make you work. Paste and paste. And here you want to write something like chicken breasts. And here you want to write wieners. Wurstel. Just type it. Wieners. There. Type it in
English.
In English. Okay. So, but there they are. Magically, now the moment in which you press play, 3 buttons.
Yeah.
See? It all self-manages because our database works the way it does. And if then we're going to allow mommy to add more categories, which she should be able to do, right? She could basically add an element to the dictionary. The issue there is going to be we're going to have a way to save this information. We're going to use player prefs to do that, and it's going to be a very long string that we're going to save. Assuming we can. I think we can.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. But so this is good progress for now, right? We got the 3 buttons. They are all interactive. They all work perfectly, and they all get destroyed. And what we're going to do next time is we're going to make it so that you can effectively toggle these buttons. Meaning you're going to click on fruit, and when you click on fruit, the list over here is going to update with all of the available fruit, all in a vertical line.
Maybe she can click on it to say that she wants to put it in the list.
Yeah, that's right.
And it'll go in a complete list.
Yeah, when she clicks on oranges, it will go in the list. And then if she clicks on oranges and it's already in the list, if she clicks on oranges again and it's already in the list, then we are not going to allow her to do it. Or perhaps we're even going to highlight the oranges that is already in the list. Who knows, right? There's loads of cool things that we can do. Mm-hmm. But that's basically where this is going. And I think it was good progress today. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you again for the next episode of this bonus series. Bye!
Bye!